Hello, everybody. This is Lenard Guzman here on the Life After D podcast with Emily Robinson, our post Super Bowl episode where Emily won the bet. So Emily and I bet we took just the straight up. So I bet on KC and she voted. She picked Tom Brady, not the Bucks. He's like the ultimate cheat code. So I lost
Not
the
Tampa
bet.
Bay, just Tom Brady.
Yeah, there we go. So I'm more annoyed that it wasn't a good game. So
I
fine.
know.
So we're here February 8th. We're kind of seeing upticks with the vaccine, with hopefully marriages. Like if the economy gets repaired, I assume marriages get repaired, and this all probably correlated to divorces, right?
It does correlate. Yeah. Like the more financial trauma, the more divorces. That's very true. Very true.
Yeah, and everyone's in a good mood when the economy's up. The jobs are, supposedly they're upticking. I don't know, and
Yes.
maybe family stability is better. I know my dad would be in a good mood. Like if this was, now he's retired. Now he's always in a good mood. So that's a
Yeah.
good thing.
Well, that's good. I'd be too if I didn't have to work every day.
Okay, so let's get to the news here. Very interesting topics here. So in this part of the show, we get into the news and see, sometimes we get into like celebrity gossip news, and Emily's here to tell us if things are actually true, what's kind of hyped up, and let's get to it. Let's get to the news. We excited, Emily?
We're excited.
Okay, well, we were talking about the economy here. So this is an interesting topic here. According to economist.com, parents of daughters are more likely to divorce than those with sons, but the difference only emerges when the children are teenagers. Daughters have long been linked with divorce. Several studies conducted in America since the 1980s provide strong evidence that a couple's firstborn being a girl increases the likelihood of their subsequently splitting up. At the time, the researchers involved speculated that this was an expression of son preferences, a phenomenon which in its most extreme form manifests itself as the selective abortion or infanticide of female offspring. I butchered that one. Work published in the Economic Journal, however, debunks the particular idea. In Daughters in Divorce, Jan Kabatek of the University of Melbourne and David Ribar of Georgia State University in Atlanta confirmed that having a female firstborn does indeed increase the risk of that child's parents divorcing in both America and the Netherlands. But unlike previous work, their study also looked at the effect of the girl's age. It found that daughter divorce risk emerges only in a firstborn girl's teenage years. Before they reach the age of 12, daughters are no more linked to couples splitting up than sons are. So last point here, if fathers were really more likely to take off because they preferred sons, surely they wouldn't wait 13 years to do so. Instead, he argues the fact that the risk is so age-specific requires a different explanation, namely that parent quarrels more over the upbringing of teenage daughters than of teenage sons. What do you think?
That's really interesting. I mean, I'd never heard anything like that before, but I think it makes sense about the age thing. Like if, I think parents go through a lot of arguments and possibly differences of opinion with a teenager. Having a teenager is difficult, and then the teenager, talks back and makes everybody frustrated, and that's difficult too. So I could see parents having more quarrels as the child gets older and the teenage years causing some strife in a marriage. I could see why it might be more so with a girl because I think um they say girls mature faster, so they may be interested in dating earlier and wanting to wear skimpy clothes and do things that parents don't approve of. Not that boys don't as well, but maybe it happens sooner for a lot of girls. So I could see that being the case. I have no idea if that's true or not, but I could see it.
Yeah, I have friends who have teenage daughters, and they're just spent. Is like, they're. I guess one of my friends was like, "Oh, it's like having a demon as a child." I mean, because yeah, I imagine they're they're getting ready for the womanhood and hormones start, and yeah, I would love to have a daughter, but I'm not looking for those. I've seen my friends go through it. I'm not looking forward to it. Okay. All
I
right.
know.
So,
I know I was difficult for my parents.
okay, here we go. Kanye West, Kim Kardashian. This looks like it's gonna be here forever. We're gonna be talking about this for the next probably the year for 2021. So here's an article here. Kanye West is done with Kim Kardashian's marriage and will file for divorce before her if he has to. So this according to Yahoo. For the last month, reports have circulated that Kim Kardashian and Kanye West marriage is over and neither party has filed for divorce yet. But according to E, West is getting impatient. People in E reported yesterday that the couple isn't talking to each other. Kardashian, a source, told people has a divorce plan in place and will file when she's ready, but she likely won't submit paperwork until her family's reality show, Keeping Up with the Kardashian, airs. As her and West's marriage breakdown is featured prominently as a storyline. The source said her issues with Kanye are a big part of the finale. The final season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. The source added that Kardashian will likely file for divorce when the season has aired. The season premiere is March 18th, so it could be weeks until the Kardashian makes a split official. West may not wait that long though. E was told, the source said, Kanye is also completely done with the marriage and is moving on. He doesn't care what Kim's priorities are with holding off a divorce announcement. He will file before she's ready if she has to. He wants a divorce just as much as Kim does. Second source told E that the Kardashian and West are completely done and no longer speaking. Kardashian is still working out the logistics of announcing the divorce, the source said, emphasizing that separation from West is completely official in her mind. How does this all work? Like, can you go, like, is it like whoever blinks first, or whoever's like wants to do the work, like, I don't want to submit the paper. Like, why is
I
this?
know, that's crazy. Well, in LA, it really doesn't matter who files first. So I don't know why they're on the fence of who should file first. Maybe it's because, with them, it's all going to be in the media and they are worried whoever files first looks bad. Who knows? But in reality, it does not matter who files first. So, you know, they've been in the news for a long time. So who knows if they're really quite ready to file? Who knows how much of this is actually, are they actually ready or are they still deciding? But it doesn't matter who files first. Nobody looks worse or anything like that.
Yeah, so this will, I'm sure we'll talk about this again. It's funny how this is a storyline and it's like her Kardashian's show. Um,
Yeah, I know. They their show basically is drama and they thrive on drama. So the more drama that there is, the better it is for the show and the more ratings they have. So, I wouldn't be surprised if Kanye gets paid by the Kardashians to draw this out and create more drama.
yeah, we'll see. So we'll continue this conversation about this one.
It's all
We'll see what
business.
happens. It's all business, baby.
I have a feeling it's a lot more business than based on real emotion.
Okay, let's take a break from that one because we'll probably come back eventually.
They'll be in the news
Um,
forever.
So the next article, um, this one is kind of like when I was single, I never had a snoring problem. Then when I got married, all of a sudden I have a snoring problem. I guess my wife is sleeping next to me. So this article from self.com, it's how a sleep divorce could make your relationship stronger. uh, so here we go. It might be for the best if you're not alone if the pandemic has unearthed small or large relationship irritations. Your partner's chewing might send you spiraling, snoring might induce rage, or after spending every waking moment together for nearly a year, you might have come to terms with a regrettable truth. You live with your live-in partner, but you want a sleep divorce. What is a sleep divorce, you may ask? It's an arrangement whereby couples decide that they need individual sleeping arrangements, separate beds, different sleep times, or entirely different rooms. There are a lot of reasons you might need a sleep separation. If one of you works late nights and sleeping together could involve 3 a.m. disruptions, that's me. One of you might have a sleep disorder that makes sleeping in the same bed unpleasant or even safe. It's also possible that you and your partner started sleeping separately for some reason during this pandemic and you discovered you enjoy the extra bed space. If you want concrete proof that sleep divorces are useful overall, there hasn't been much research on the matter, but it's clear that some of the issues that might prompt a sleep divorce can definitely be harmful to your rest. For instance, a literature review published in 2016 in Chronicobiology International found some evidence that sleeping with someone who snores can have a negative impact on your own sleep quality. The bottom line is there's more research needed to examine how sleeping together impacts overall mental and physical health, but you should do what's best for your sleep wise if you can. We know that proper sleep fuels your overall well-being. Sleep can help you consolidate memories and rebuild muscle, among a host of other benefits. Like a few tips here, remind yourself that sleeping apart doesn't mean your relationship is terrible. Number 2, be gentle in your approach. Number 3, consider some sleep compromises. Number 4, spend time cuddling before bed. 5, be intentional about other forms of physical closeness. Is this
Mm.
common?
It's interesting. I mean, I I do know that people have, a lot of sleep issues that drive their spouses nuts. My dog snores all night and that drives me nuts. And I think a lot of people have undiagnosed sleep apnea. And if they look into it and get those machines, it does help a lot. But I know a lot of people that sleep separately just because they drive each other nuts with snoring and it doesn't affect their marriage. They're fine, or sleep separately for other reasons. My kids come in my bed every night and I end up on the floor half the time. So I feel like, you know, that just is what happens. So um I don't think that it's necessarily harmful to your marriage if you sleep separately. And look, if what does harm your marriage is if you're cranky all the time because you're not getting enough sleep. So if you have a way to sleep better, I would take it.
Oh, okay. So I have to have this conversation with my wife. Maybe this is. I don't mind sleeping like apart. I just want to like not be disrupted. I'll figure a way to sleep on the couch and just get comfortable there. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, it's also, I don't know if we snore as much when we're younger. We don't have as
Hmm.
many like allergies or whatever.
Yeah, I'm becoming
Who
an old
knows?
man. This is a sign.
I just mean, I don't know if marriage is like the triggering events.
Well,
It may more just be our age or something.
yeah, okay. So I'll give you updates on it. See what happens.
Okay.
All right, let's get to the part of the show. It's called Dear Emily, where people post online, whether it's about starting their divorce journey, whether it's about child custody, separating assets, maybe some mental health issues. So let's get into it. All right, first post: can stimulus payments be negotiated? Today is a big day in my divorce process. My preliminary hearing is this afternoon. It will be the first time I've seen my husband, ex-husband, or ex-spouse in 4 months. I don't think a lot will happen, as she hasn't declared all of her assets, but we'll see. While married, we filed our taxes jointly, and she did all the filing. When we got our first stimulus check, it went into savings, but I can't recall which one. I moved out in October before the second stimulus payments were released. I haven't seen a penny of this money and don't want to keep being denied access, since the third round should be approved soon. Right now, she has a six-figure job and gets to keep the house she bought near her family, while I've had to start over and have to struggle to find a job. Does anyone know, let's see, have experience in negotiating past and future stimulus payments? I'll be asking my lawyer before the hearing, but any advice would help.
Um, I've actually had a few of these recently, uh, with people, one person gets the whole stimulus payment and the other person doesn't get any. And in general, you know, I've been telling people, it's per person. So you should give your ex their share, their portion. And then if there's a child and you share custody, um, then you should split that payment in some proportional way, because you also get extra money for the child. So I do think it's negotiable. I don't think the court's made any particular like ruling on it or anything, but I think if it were to rule on it, it would say that each person should get their own payments and you share the child's payments if you have joint custody. It's not right for one person to keep the whole check. Obviously, the government doesn't know if you're separated when they send the check out, and it ends up just going to one person. I will say I've noticed people are very uninterested in sharing these payments, though. Like I've had a lot of people come at me and say, "My ex isn't sharing this." like people tend to just keep it for themselves unless someone calls them on it.
Oh man, there must be like some good sales going on, because
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you want to buy shoes or do clothes. I already spent
Right?
it. Okay, so this is our last post of the day. So let's see. So this one is has to do with moving home. So the divorce is officially happening. She'll be keeping the house. So I've started plans to move out. Thing is, I don't even know what to do. I can't afford an apartment for me and my dog on just my salary. My parents have graciously offered to let me stay with them until I get back on my feet. But that means moving back home 3 hours away, along with the fact I'll need to find a new career. I just feel ashamed that I would be living with my parents at over 30 years old. Has anyone done this? Is this a common thing to do? Should I try to avoid going home, or is leaning on my family at this point in time an okay thing to do?
I think leaning on your family is perfectly fine to do. People do it all the time. It's comfort, it's a support system, it's somewhere to go temporarily while you get back on your feet. I don't see any problem with that, and I see it happen frequently. And it's a way to, it's a quick way to get out of the house, get out on your own, start doing your own thing, and then you can make your own way, find your own place. But as a temporary arrangement, I don't think that's a problem at all. And in fact, I'd say I see it the majority of the time.
Yeah, plus, like my mom would just be cooking me all my meals, so it can't be that bad.
Right?
Um,
Exactly. And really, 30 is not that old. Like many people these days haven't even moved out by 30. So
Yeah, it's not that bad. Okay, so yeah, you'll be all right. Um, so yeah, that's all the time we have for today on this episode. Emily, do you have any last thoughts here?
Um, you know, halftime show, I was very happy that it was kid appropriate for my children, unlike last year. So that was a nice change. And no, just the we got some nice warm weather, so try to get your vitamin D, and that also helps keep you calmer and happier and increase your hopefully your serotonin so you can try to enjoy life despite the sad and difficult things that are always going on around us. Try to find the silver linings.
Yeah, there's hope. Vaccines coming out, so
Yeah,
we can't be in this thing forever. So we'll
exactly.
see.
Exactly.
So yeah, tune in next week on the Life After D podcast, and we'll have more things to bet on,
Yes.
and advice on. Emily will give advice and break things down like we did this week.
Yes,
All right, bye guys.
exactly. Bye.